I have had mystical experiences my whole life, but I've also studied those experiences, especially when it comes to the interactions of the soul and human potential. I believe we are body and soul, and if we're only aware of our physical senses, we're missing half our life. I've come to help you with your soul senses. In this episode, I want to talk to you about a question that I get all of the time. It's the question of, what do I do about psychic protection? I'm really excited to share some of my findings, and I want to also give you some habits for your own soul awareness, a new habit that might enhance your life. So I hope you enjoy our time together.
Hello, and welcome to the Constance Messmer podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in.
This offering is also for people that are recognizing they want to get in touch with their soul awareness, that soul mystical part of themselves that is very psychic. It's our birthright. Being able to empathically pick up information, being able to psychically know things and source things, just having the awarenesses come to you in the heightened intuition. These are all things that we're all capable of. And sometimes psychic protection is going to have to be a part of your daily repertoire. This episode will be helpful for those of you that work in the field and those of you that just want to enhance your own soul awareness when it comes to psychic protection. If you wanted me to define psychic protection, I might say to you that it would be the ability to feel protected when entering into experiences that you are tuning in with your soul awareness. So this could be experiences where spirit comes to you, or where you go sourcing to spirit, or you go sourcing to people's spirits and souls, the people that are around you, or picking up their energy. Either way, this is what I mean by psychic protection. Really feeling that you are safe in these experiences and that you maintain your own energetic integrity and not be completely unnerved and bombarded by someone else's existence, by someone else's soul experience. And of course, the same is true when sourcing information or picking up information from animals or places. So what does psychic disturbance feel like? Well, various things. And part of your journey with your life is to recognize, how does psychic disturbance land on you? Some examples of psychic disturbance is when you feel completely fine and you walk into a space and all of the sudden you are feeling heavy or physically ill, like sick to your stomach or upset. And these experiences are coming onto you without having a source from you. And the same is true with people. If you meet certain people, or people might have ways of expressing themselves that can affect you in a negative way, especially if you're sensitive and empathic and just aware of the senses of your soul. And so perhaps if someone is coming at you challenging or complaining or negative, and you start to sense those same exact feelings in your body, and they affect your peace of mind and your otherwise calm or joyous state. These are psychic disturbances. You can get them from people, places, and things. And although these psychic disturbances can be registered on you at a soul level that then affects your physical sensations and how you are feeling physically, there are some protective measures that you can do prior to entering out into your world, or prior to engaging with someone that might have you thrown off your game, but certainly also after the fact. And I suggest that you might consider having some healthy habits that you can turn on at the start of your day, or become aware of the need to work with throughout your day. So what are the habits that you could get into? Wow, there's several of them actually. I'm a big fan of the wetsuit. Like when I'm going into crowded spaces, I intend and imagine pulling my auric field in like a wetsuit so that when I pass by people and I'm in their auric space and they're in my auric space, I'm not picking up their stuff. That's a very helpful method that I use when I give talks or I go through auditoriums or go through crowds. I also have used another way where I bubble up and imagine white light in my auric field that cannot be penetrated so that I am safe in my own energetic space and not affected by those around me. There have also been times in my life where I had a habit of wearing a rosary around my neck. I have told you I was raised Catholic and I love the rosary. And I love the feeling that I get when I'm not only praying the rosary, but also using it as protection mechanism. A lot of people that I know wear crosses or crucifixes or their own, sacred jewelry that connects them to their particular religion to help them feel safe. These are great. All you have to do is set the intention that it is offering and allowing as psychic protection for you and believing in that faith that you have. There's been times in my life, I told you that I've walked around with clear quartz crystals as earrings, as necklaces in my pockets. Different crystals. Clear quartz is lovely because it dispels negativity. That's fabulous. There have been times when I've entered into spaces where I've used holy water on myself or vinegar. And both of those are great for cleansing and clearing. And then also there was a talk I gave recently that I had some smudge sticks, some white mountain sage, sustainably and beautifully sourced white mountain sage. And it was to me to help ground and clear and hold things at bay. And it was lovely. It worked really incredible for me. These are just some habits that you might consider if you recognize that when you go into your workspace, or certain times of the year, clients or customers are troubled and you tend to pick up more often their angst and you just want a little bit more creation of space, right? Of your sacred space that is your auric field and your energy field. Knowing when you might need these items and putting them to practice is a great habit. So again, some of it is with the intention of bubbling up or auric field or putting up mirrors or shields, right? A mirror so that if anybody says anything gnarly, it's reflected back to them. If you put up a mirror aligned with pink light, imagine a mirror facing them, but surround it with pink light so it's reflected back with love so that when people kind of cast their weird energy at you or their uncomfortable comments or their angst, that it's reflected back to them with love and noticing what that does in the exchange and the experience. It's usually quite amazing. Trust me, I've used that before. People back down really quick and they recognize that sometimes they're just being in their anger space because it's from them, not from what you're doing at all. And they're just finding someone to, dispel it on and displace it on. These days, I rarely use anything other than just dousing myself with light and asking that the light channel through me and out of me towards others, that it's kind of this one-way flow of light, if you will, pulling in the light from the heavens, bringing it through my being, and then flowing out so that everyone can pick up healing love light. It's a very much a Reiki thing, Reiki energy balancing thing, where you're walking the planet infused with the light. Those are just some lovely tools to consider that you might want to do and use as your own psychic protection going through life in each day, each and every day. These might need to be your repertoire as you become more grounded in your experiences of your soul awareness and a planet that's waking up and all that has to offer. It may be just that it needs to be a new habit like brushing your teeth or washing your face or taking a shower, that you just have to put this other layer of enhanced soul protection of keeping things nice and clean. Hey, as you follow my teachings, I've created this journal to be your companion. Your 11 Soul Senses is a journal for self-discovery. It's an invitation to deepen your connection to yourself and the world around you and others. This is a good thing. Your soul senses are experienced through your higher conscious awareness. Through them, you perceive the spiritual aspects of your environment, the energy patterns, vibrations, soul level experiences, and underlying feelings. I'm laughing because I'm reading a script and it's going a little slow for me. Fully tuning into your world in this way, you increase your awareness and you begin to live your unlimited potential. These are my words, but I had to write them down to remember them. This journal is for you to document your quest for self-discovery. This is a good idea. Definitions are in there to help you understand how you are perceiving through your soul senses. Don't forget, I'm all about contemporary language. Prompts and quotes that we've added guide and encourage you. The empty pages are there for extraordinary exploration as you connect with your own higher states of awareness. I think I moved my eyeballs away from looking at the camera. But listen, to get yours, I invite you, I'm encouraging you to head to constancemessmer.com and check out my shop. Listen, I did it for you. All this I do for you. You know that. I believe in you. You got this. Thanks for tuning in. Certainly if you're doing psychic work, but also if you're just kind of wondering, like, I wonder what they're thinking, or you're doing deep listening and you're tuning into somebody and you're empathic, and then you're all of a sudden going, oh, why did I feel cruddy? Oh, it's because I was listening too deeply, or I was wondering what's their life like, or I wonder why they seem sad. And now you've picked up their stuff, right? This is you recognizing what you're doing with your mind and where you're going with your psycho-spiritual connection. This is like you needing to realize, wow, my soul awareness is so tuned in that I am energetically going in to read them in a way, to empathically connect, to get a closer connection or a deeper understanding. And in these situations too, the minute that you're thinking about them or those thoughts, you're hooked in, especially you empaths, right? If that's how you source your information or how you listen deeper or how you try to understand the problems better, then you're in. So it really comes back to recognizing, where are you directing your energy? Because in those moments, that's what you're doing. You're directing your soul energy, your psychic energy. And the same is true, recognizing if you empathically pick up energy from people and crowds aren't your favorite place, what can you do so that you can live a life that is true and free, so that you can go into crowds, so that you can listen deeply? Some of this is realizing, like, oh, I better douse myself with light before going in. I better imagine my auric field like a wetsuit and pull it close. Oh, I'm going to listen deeply. And then when I come back, I'm going to give them with intention their energy back to them, because now I know it and I don't need to carry their sadness or their woes or their whatever it is, right? There's a lot of times, even when you're in lines, if you're standing in a queue and waiting and you're picking up the energy of the person in front of you, because all of your chakras out front are open and directed facing at them, right? And if you're all the same height, then your heart chakra is aligned with their heart chakra, your solar plexus aligned with their solar plexus, your sacrals with their sacral. You can pick up some pretty interesting energy, right? You remember my episode on sacral chakra, right? Remember that guy that was like, oh God, his energy. I was like, whoa, with the sexual energy, dude. You have to watch out for this. We are soul beings. We're energy first. We're energy first and foremost. Don't ever forget that. So when you're feeling a bit discombobulated or a bit off, recognize, where does that happen in my life? So a nice habit might be is to keep a journal. This week, you might be like, you know what? I'm going to do what Constance is suggesting. I'm going to keep an energy journal. How do I feel in certain situations? And then noticing it one day, and then the next day, changing your habit. What do you need to do? Some of you out there that are really super empathic, it's not enough to use your shields that are intention shields. You might need to arm yourself with crystals or smudge when you get home. Or I love offices that have like a desk that goes up high. That is a wall of protection, that physical desk. How about all those COVID shields that came down? I don't know that they should. Sometimes the plexiglass is a good idea, right? I'm not a plastic fan, but there are people that need this kind of a barrier, if you will. And so recognizing what works for you in those situations that you've noticed have you kind of in a space where you need more psychic protection. That's what this is about. So noticing throughout your day, when do you get energetically kind of out of sorts? Where's it coming from? And what can you do about it? Do you remember my acronym ABC? It came from the angels. Awareness, breath, care. Awareness that something's not right. Taking a breath to source where's it coming from and getting back in your body, right? And clearing if you need to, dispelling this, sending this off to the angels. Please transmute this. Clear me, clear me, clear me. Imagine yourself in a shower of light. And then C, care. What do you need to do? Well, some of it's that showering yourself with light. Some of it's stepping away. I was in an office today and I was really caught up in the other person's energy. They had just come off a spiritual retreat and I was getting drunk in their light, right? And I was trying to talk to them and I couldn't find my words. So I literally had to step out, way out of their auric field, which was huge because of all the spirit work they had done. I had to step way out and I was able to find the words again. And so sometimes it's just changing your position, turning sideways when you talk to someone so that your heart's not in line with theirs. Listen, these are the skills that I really want you to pick up and learn because these are new kind of habits that you might need to build because your old way of doing things might not be suitable anymore. Okay, let's talk about psychic protection when it comes to connecting with the spirit realm. Who are you connecting with? Those of you that read tarot cards or do reads, are trying to tap into source of problems or sitting with guides. The question is, who are you connecting with? Who are you getting your information from if you're getting it from your own guidance? And also, if you're trying to tap into their guides, who are you connecting with? What's the purpose of the connection? These are serious questions. Is the purpose of the connection goodness and light, or is it ill intent? Are you just going in on the Ouija board and not aligning with a high spirit? Then that tool of divination is going to be like a 1-800 random phone call, and anybody gets to come through. You have to set the intention of who you want to connect with. When you are doing anything that is spirit-centered like that, like getting source information from another realm, you have to set the intention. Or also, too, you're going to need a lot of psychic protection going into that. But honestly, wouldn't you rather go to goodness and light for the information? That's the intention. Don't get swayed or carried away by the darkness. I'm going to be teaching you in the next episode, I'm sure, about realms of spirit. That's where we'll take a closer look at all of this connecting with whomever and wherever, and how you can understand the frequency of those vibrations and the source of the information and how to work in those layers of knowing and sourcing answers. I look forward to that lesson. I would like to believe that there are people on the planet that have never had to deal with negative energy. I think if that is the case, it might be from past life work or kind of just their own prayerful continence or their own vibrational space in this incarnation. I like to dwell on the fact that, we can really say, no, I am just going to be with light and that's how it's going to be. And I'm not going to have it any other way. And I think that because of what I know we can do manifesting and with intention, that could be the case. I've not met anyone that has come to me where that is the case. When I have myself been exposed to negative energy or have pulled it off other people, I know the big and also sometimes subtle difference between when I can do it myself with intention and crystals and white mountain sage intention, or when I need to bring in the really intense helper healers. And what I'm talking about is I call on the angels or higher up. I call on God consciousness to come in when it is beyond me. I have sensed negativity in people's energy field and have worked with the higher realms to release it. I also know people that have gone to different practitioners. An example is acupuncturists that work to release possessions. I know shamans that have worked with possessions on people or negative energy on people, helping to extract and free the negative energy up into their realms. So there are other opportunities when psychic protection has to go beyond crystals or smudge sticks or intention or mirrors or bubbling up. And I just want you to recognize that if this is something that you're exposed to, or you know someone that's exposed to it, that there are other sources or resources that can be turned to. But I also believe that if we were to sit in our own quiet meditative space as we begin our day and bubble ourselves up in light and set the intention of only goodness and light, I think that might make a difference. I know that it does for me as I'm heading into my day or heading into situations to really be grounded and protected by the light of divine, light of love, those higher frequency vibrations where no darkness can penetrate and come into because they cannot hold the frequency. And I ask that with my own soul awareness that I'll be aware of those moments that I need to ground myself in that light even more. And so I just invite you to kind of consider all that I've mentioned today and how it might land in your life or where you might need to build new habits in yours in regards to this topic of psychic protection. All of this goes without saying. If you are in a dangerous situation, whether it's relationship, in work, professional life, or private life, there is usually one answer. You need to get out of it. And so it goes without saying. And so sometimes the greater help that is needed, if you're feeling the real deep, consistent need for psychic protection, sometimes the real help that's needed is reaching out to a professional, whether it's a therapist or someone that can help you get out of a dangerous situation. This episode was not about that. This episode was about soul interactions, but most certainly soul interactions can translate to feeling physically unsafe. And I definitely don't want to be misleading that in those situations, getting out is the best answer. Same is true if it's just something you're picking up on an energetic level, on an emotional level, a mental level, a spiritual level, a physical level, any of those. When you feel as if your life is threatened or your livelihood is threatened or you are under attack, get out. And if that resonates, and I pray to God it doesn't, but if that resonates, I will hold you in prayer for courage to do so. I think one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself in this lifetime is accepting, honoring, and learning about your own soul awareness. I hope that today's session has helped you in some of that. Hey, Constance Messmer here. I just want to do a shout out of big thanks to all the members. I am so grateful. And all the people dropping in and giving little donations here and there and super thanks and all that stuff. I really appreciate you. You members and you people contributing and subscribers are what helped me bring this content to everyone, really. They both contribute to the cost of production, and I am definitely grateful for that. This stuff is not cheap to put out. Oh my God. Oh my God. So every little bit helps, and I am filled with gratitude that you're stepping up. I am not necessarily a joiner, not usually, but there are environmental issues in other organizations that I do belong to and I contribute to because I like to see them persevere. And I'm hoping you feel the same about this work. I hope you put it into practice in your life. That's another way that you could spread this work and help change our world, which is what I think it ultimately does. As you know, I think if everyone tuned into their soul senses, the world would be a much better place. So when you subscribe, it's a big yes vote for the content, and it helps spread the work across the planet. So when you put the lessons into practice and subscribe and like and share, you help me help you carry the lesson beyond you and me. And I am just really grateful. Educational, spiritual, and entertainment purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for medical diagnosis, treatment, or the advice of a physician, psychotherapist, or other qualified professional. You should not use this information to diagnose or treat a health problem or condition. Always check with your doctor. Thank you.